All right, we're about to get into a story that is, well, it's pretty shocking and incredibly complex. It's a story of a really deep personal betrayal. And the craziest part? It didn't start with some random person on a dating app. Nope. It started in the one place you think you're supposed to feel safe, the office.
So this is the harrowing experience of a woman we're going to call Ravina. She was a senior HR advisor, and she stumbled upon this just shocking year-long deception, and it was all orchestrated by someone she worked with side by side every single day. We're going to break down exactly how this all went down, step by devastating step, and importantly, how she finally fought back.
So, where does a story like this even begin? Well, not with a random message online, that's for sure. It starts with a trusted colleague. You see, he very carefully built this friendship with Ravina. He'd share his own worries, make himself seem really vulnerable and open. Basically, he was laying this foundation of trust that, as we'll see, he was planning to exploit all along.
And this is what's so chilling, right? How calculated it all was. This was not random. It was a deliberate four-step method. First, establish that real-world trust. Then, create the fake personas. After that, isolate all their communication online. And here's the kicker, the most critical step. Use his physical presence at work to back up the whole lie and just brush off any doubts she had.
Okay, so now let's get into the web of lies itself, the actual deception. This colleague, he didn't just create one fake person. No, he created two, and each one was designed to manipulate Ravina in a completely different way.
And this right here, this was the absolute core of the psychological game he was playing. It was basically a classic good cop, bad cop routine. You had Adrian, the intense, controlling boyfriend who used jealousy to make her dependent on him. And then on the other hand, you had Tom, the charming, warm confidant who would lure her in with promises, getting her to share incredibly private images and details. And this is the crucial element. Why did she believe it for so long? Because the whole digital fantasy was propped up by his real-world presence. Think about it. Every single time Ravina felt a little unsure or a meeting got canceled with some flimsy excuse, who was there? Her colleague, physically there at work to reassure her. He'd insist these guys were real. And that reassurance from someone she trusted, well, it made the whole fiction feel real.
But you can only keep a lie like that going for so long. After a whole year of these strange excuses, these constant cancellations, Ravina started to feel this deep sense of unease. Her instincts just took over. And that web of lies, it was about to completely unravel, leading to a truly devastating turning point.
So, driven by this nagging suspicion, she basically became her own private investigator. I mean, she meticulously combed through social media, found the actual guys whose photos had been stolen, and she contacted them. And they confirmed the chilling truth. They had absolutely no idea who she was. In that one moment, the entire story she had been living for a year just collapsed.
So you can imagine she was emotionally shattered. But that discovery, it was also the key, legally speaking. This was the beginning of her fight for justice. This is where a deeply personal violation starts to transform into a really powerful legal claim.
Okay, so first up, her lawyers zeroed in on a key legal principle, something called misuse of private information. To put it simply, because she was lied to, she never actually gave her informed consent to share all those private details of her life. See, the deception completely stripped her of the right to make her own choices, and that loss of control, that is a real harm that the law recognizes.
And then there was the second part. All that relentless psychological pressure, the constant made-up crises, the non-stop manipulation, all of that added up to harassment. This wasn't just a one-off lie, It was a sustained campaign, and it caused Ravina severe anxiety and even panic attacks. That pretty much checks all the boxes for the legal definition of harassment. So what you have here is this incredibly strong three-pronged legal case. You've got the invasion of privacy, the severe emotional damage from the harassment, and on top of all that, he even broke technical data privacy laws under GDPR. Put it all together, and it creates this rock-solid legal framework that, frankly, left him with absolutely nowhere to hide.
So armed with all this compelling evidence, the legal team moved fast, and they had to. Remember, Ravina and this guy still worked in the same office. So they needed a strategy that was discreet but also really decisive, something that would avoid a stressful public court battle.
And, well, when he was faced with the undeniable evidence, he crumbled. He quickly admitted to everything. No fight. This led to a settlement that included a payment of over £35,000, which covered the damages and Ravina's legal costs.
But look, this was never just about the money. Not really. The resolution was about getting justice and, more importantly, feeling safe again. So it included a formal written apology, a binding agreement that he had to delete all of her data, and a legal promise that he would never contact her again. All of that was to ensure she had peace of mind moving forward.
And as the lawyers on her case put it, the whole point of this outcome was to restore her sense of dignity. It was about holding someone accountable for what they did, sure, but most importantly, it was about empowering Ravina to reclaim her life, to move forward with confidence after going through such a profound and awful betrayal.
So, Ravina's story. It's really a stark, powerful reminder of just how complicated trust has become in our hyper-connected world. It really forces us all to confront a difficult question, doesn't it? In an age where our digital and real lives are so tangled up together, how well do we truly know the people we trust?